Hello techies. Welcome to our brand new video series focused on helping you get the most of your experiences in life. Before we start the video, let's know about Upptalk. Upptalk is a live, interactive platform for software training, furnishing robust personalities who could take on universal business platforms.
It can. It can just cross over and go on its journey. Right. It can continue on its journey without stopping at the red light, right. But it was the same red light. It was the same traffic signal that your car had stopped and the ambulance didn't correct. So is it so? Who gave them the permission? Who, or what, gives the ambulance driver the permission to drive, even though the light is red? But how do we all know that, the ambulance can go? Where did we read about it? Or how did we come to know about it? Driver's test. Driver's test. Yeah, in the driver's test they give you. What a big fat manual that you have to read, isn't it? Yeah, you have to go through and you have to understand. Okay, what are the traffic rules? Right. What does that big fat manual from BMW contain? It contains the traffic rules. Right, it contains the rules. So who has you fined? Who has to find? What happens at the traffic? It's a BMW right. It's a traffic law right. It's a traffic law. So in the traffic rule book it is defined what needs to happen. Right. So that is the policy, that is the rule, that is the policy which allows certain vehicles to go versus certain vehicles to stop, right? So the domains, the security policies are equivalent to that rulebook. It it gives you a list of who is allowed to do what. Are you allowed to stop or are you allowed to go in a red light? Okay, that is a security policy. That's a rule book, the guidebook which contains a list of permissions. Now the traffic light is the secured item, because there are some rules pertaining to the traffic light right, and similarly there are rules pertaining to the highway right, and then there are rules pertaining to the schools and hospitals. Like, in front of a hospital, you are allowed to do something. You're not allowed to honk, you're not allowed to drive at a very fast pace, right? There are speed limits, and speed limits are varied between, like, a school area, residential area, a highway, right, and then there are one-ways, restricted carriages or restricted carriages and so on. So each and every traffic object can be considered to be a secured item. And similarly, in Workday, each and every object, like a worker, a location of a supervisory organization, a compensation plan, a task, each of those are secured items. Secured items meaning it's an object that has to be secured, that is secured in some way or the other, and each and every object is secure, right? Okay. Now, when you look at let's say, the traffic rules pertaining to a hospital, okay, and you have Hospital A and Hospital B, will the traffic rules be drastically different between Hospital A and Hospital B? Or does your BMW say? Or does your driving that manual say that, okay, in front of Hospital A, you're supposed to do this. In front of Hospital B, you are allowed to do something different? No, it says. But how does it say? It says, okay, in front of hospitals. These are the things you are supposed to do. So it has grouped the hospitals together into a category called, let's say, hospitals. So Hospital A, Hospital B, Hospital C, Hospital D, they are all grouped together based on the basis of what? They are grouped together because the traffic, the rules apply in a similar manner to all those four objects, correct? Similarly, think about schools. School A, School B, schools is School D. They are in different parts of the city, but the traffic rule applies absolutely in the same manner for each and every school, correct? Similarly, let's say the supervisory organization is a secured item. So all the supervisory organizations are grouped together as a secured item, and we call that a domain and a subdomain. So we will put that into we will group them together into domains, and for that domains we have some permissions. So what are you supposed to do in front of a school? Right. So that is given in the PMB. So here also, what are the permissions pertaining to a supervisory organization? That is defined as the domain security policy. Okay, now think about this. Think about the same ambulance driver who, jolly well, crossed the red light and went ahead on his journey. Now, let's say his shift is ended, he is going back home now in his own car, right? He has given the hospital back with he has given the ambulance back with the hospital. Now, he is going back home in his own car, and he has approached the same traffic signal, and it's red. What is he allowed to do? Is he allowed to just cross over? He needs to stop. He needs to stop. He needs to stop. Why? But he's an ambulance driver, in his day job. That is his job. He's an ambulance driver. It's not associated to his job. The ship is over. He is not more driving an emergency vehicle right now. He's no longer driving an emergency vehicle, right? So he is no longer an ambulance driver at this point. So can we say that it is not him that had the permission, but his, let's say, position? Yeah, his position as an ambulance driver, that position had the permission to, cross the red light, isn't it? So now he's in a different position. His position is that of a normal civilian, right? So he is driving his own car back home, so that person is no longer the ambulance driver. So the point is, the roles and the permissions are assigned to the position and not to the person. Okay, the roles are assigned to the position. They're not assigned to the person. Think about all the presidents and the prime ministers that we have. So let's think about some former president of the United States, or maybe some former prime minister of India. So once their term ends, right, they are elected for a term. Once their term ends, do they continue having the same powers they had when they were in that particular position, like when they were the prime minister or when they were the president? No, like, let's say, Barack Obama or Donald Trump, or maybe here, Manmohan Singh and the other former presidents, prime ministers, do they continue to have the same power as the current president, as the current prime minister? No, right, they cannot say okay. Yeah, do this. I approve this because I used to be the former prime minister. No, they cannot do that because they had those powers. They had those decision-making ability because they held a particular position, because the position had the permission to do that, not the person, correct? So the roles are assigned. Whenever we assign the role of manager, the role of partner, the role of, let's say, compensation partner, HR partner, etc. The roles are always assigned to the position and not to the person. Okay, please keep that in mind. The roles are always assigned to the position. Okay. So if a person changes position and goes to a different position, will the permissions, will the roles speak? We continue to be associated with that person. No, if the position changes. No, right. So think about a very simple example. Let's say you had a manager in your organization, in your department, and now the manager gets transferred or promoted and somebody else comes as a replacement. Right. Let's say your existing manager has gone to a different department. Now will that manager continue to have an influence over you, like when you apply for a leave? Will it go to that other? I mean to the previous person. For approval? No, will. Will you need to ask them, or will they conduct your performance reviews and annual appraisals? No, right. Why not? Because they are no longer your manager? They do not have the role of your manager. They have moved to a different position and the roles are always assigned to the position. So whoever has come as the replacement, that person would be the new manager, correct? So let's now try to bring it back to the Workday's perspective, or how Workday's security is configured. Organizations will have roles associated with them. Okay, so these, when we create roles, we will decide which type of organization these roles are applicable for. Is this role applicable for a company like, let's say, we are creating a role called accounting specialist, decorating a role of an accountant or an accounting specialist, right? So will that role be applicable for a supervisory organization? Or will it be more applicable or more suitable for a company kind of organization? Let's say, an accounting specialist. It is most likely, related to a company, right? Let's say a controller. A controller, it will be mostly a company, right? But let's say a benefits partner. What will be the benefits partner associated with supervisory or company supervisory? A benefits partner would be most likely associated with a supervisory organization, right? So, anyway, the bottom line is the roles are associated with the organizations, and then we will group the roles which need to have the same kind of security. Like the manager, all managers need to have the same kind of security permissions, isn't it? Right, for their particular organization. They would need to do the same set of tasks like all ambulance drivers. They need the same kind of authority all police cars. They will have the same kind of authority. All civilian vehicles like our private cars. They will have the same kind of security permissions, isn't it? So we will group those components together, like all ambulances, all police cars, all, let's say, private cars. We will combine them together as a security group, and we will give them certain permissions. Right? We will give them certain permissions, and those groups are security groups. Permissions are always given to security groups. Permissions are not given to roles. Roles are associated with security groups, and permissions are given to the security groups. And where do we have the list of permissions? What defines a...
Please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us at sales@upptalk.com.